All right. We are live. Looking forward to doing this today, guys. Welcome. August 9th, 6 p.m. I'm going to drop some really cool stuff on you guys today. And I'm looking forward to it. So just keep in mind that if you have not, I'm using StreamYard this time around. So if you have not, please go to streamyard.com/Facebook. Give StreamYard access or permission so that you could comment and I could post your comment. Like, for example, I have Savvy here who says, "Yo, Cap." So I want to be able to highlight you guys and put your questions up on the board here. So please go ahead and do that and give StreamYard permission to have your comments up here. So streamyard.com/Facebook. All right, cool. Sounds good. All right, guys. So I'm excited. I've been looking forward to this all day. I'm going to keep on saying this every time I go live. So I'm excited about it. There's a lot going on in the world right now, a lot of uncertainty, but I'm certain of one thing. You guys are here. You guys are live with me. You guys are commenting. All right. So you're already won. You've already won before everybody else won. All right. So kudos to you guys for everybody that's jumping on right now. I'll give you guys, a few seconds here to catch up with me. This one was kind of scheduled now, so I'm really excited that, I was able to get the notifications out to everyone and everything like that. So, welcome, guys. Today, what's up, tribe? I see you guys in the comments. Today is all about overthinking. Now, you don't have to be a business person to worry about overthinking. So this message is for everyone. Now, mind you, we are live on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. I want to get the message out that overthinking happens for everyone, all shapes and sizes, all ages, all sexes, everything. Everyone deals with this. Let me ask you this. Who is your biggest enemy in this world? That's a weird question to ask, right? Who's your biggest enemy in this world? Let's put it in the chat, guys. I want to see this. Myself. Facebook user says myself. I don't know who Facebook user is, so thank you for putting that. Kimmy says myself. Nelson says myself. Savvy says yourself. No, not yourself. You, not me, right? I'm my own enemy, right? So regardless of how much money we make, how little money we have, regardless of the amount of success or not success, not yet at least, we're always going to have that in common as human beings. I want to let you know that it's okay to have that. It is okay to understand it. Now, there's something called, hey, Bob Kane is here. What's up, bro? So there's 5 stages that people go through of grief. One of those first stages is denial. And that last stage of grief, does anybody know what it is? What's the last stage of the 5 stages of grief that anyone goes through? Let's say you lose a family member, you go through foreclosure. So the last step of grief, the last stage of grief is acceptance. The first one is denial. Can we agree right now? Overthinking fits this criteria. Some people don't know that they are overthinking. So one of the preliminary or prerequisites, remember college days, they said you got to take a certain course before you take the next course, the prerequisite. This is the prerequisite of moving forward with overthinking and how to overcome it. And so identifying the fact that you do have an issue, all right, just like an alcoholic identifies they have an issue with alcoholism. Someone who has a drug abuse issue obviously needs to understand and accept. First, they deny it. Then at the end, what do? They accept it. And so when they accept it, that's the beginning of the recovery for rehab. And so overthinking is, let's take it down a journey like this. We're overthinking. We're going to overcome overthinking by understanding that we actually do have overthinking, right? A lot of us go through it. And so I want you to kind of give yourself grace to understand and accept the fact that you do have it. And if you don't have it, even better. But this is also for you, because this will remind you, you're going to have those days where you're going to overthink about something. That purchase for the house, for your family, the purchase of a business, the purchase of whatever, having another kid. All that is all overthinking. And sometimes our biggest enemy is ourselves. All the time, actually, our biggest enemy is ourselves. And so we need to overcome that. So it's like the self versus the self. All right. This is what today is all about. And I wanted to kind of break that down for you guys and let you know, first of all, give yourself grace that you do have overthinking and you do have an obstacle yourself. And when I say yourself, who do I really mean? Is it this or this? Is it your mind or your heart? Put it in the chat, guys. Savvy says this. I love it. If you guys are connecting with this, drop some love, drop some hearts, comments, because this applies to everyone, whether you're in business or not. And so what ends up happening is you go through this journey, right? And you start overthinking about everything that you're about to do. Does anybody know when overthinking usually happens? When does it typically happen? What stage of your lives or what stages of your life? Let's go ahead and see what the comments say here. I love this. I love this. Yes, exactly. So typically, Kimmy says before a big decision. That's one of them. Once you are about to, and the answer is once you are about to level up. Okay. Once there's going to be a change in your life, once something is not going to be the way it was, is when your overthinking starts. So one of the perfect examples, and a lot of us are in real estate here, should I send the offer in that's very low ball or should I not? My numbers are saying that property is worth 150. The seller is wanting 200. Should I send this offer in? I don't want to insult the seller. Guess what? You already lost the battle. So what do you need to do? You need to overcome it. First, you need to identify it. All right. So this is what I'm going to be talking about today. Analysis paralysis. Yes. And before I even say anything, I want to let you know something. And take it from me. I have a master's degree in business, guys. And the more educated you are, the more overthinking you experience. I'm going to say that again for the folks all the way in the back there. The more educated you are, the more overthinking you experience. Yes, I'm talking to you, all right? Mr. and Mrs. MBA and BBAs and all the college degrees in the world. The more educated you are, the more overthinking you will experience. I want you to think of this way. Engineers. Who here is an engineer? Whatever kind of engineer. Engineers are trained to look at safety-related incidents, safety-related items. Let's say I'm tasked as an engineer. I don't know who. Don't you point at me? Says I don't know who that is, but I am pointing at you. Let's say I'm hired to do a job to build a bridge. Okay. And I start drawing it out. I start getting the feel for the layout and everything like that. Next thing I know, what am I doing as an engineer? I'm making sure that this bridge that I design and the builders will build will not collapse so that I don't kill people crossing the bridge every single day, commuting to work or whatever. And I'm also making sure that the builders don't make any mistakes that could kill people. All right. So as someone who's educated, you are trained to look at the what ifs. Okay. The what ifs, the risk avoidance, all the worst case scenarios. So the more you're educated, I hope that makes sense for you guys. The more you're educated, the worse the overthinking happens. The more it happens, right? So If you're in that bucket, please drop some love and, hearts and all that fun stuff. On Instagram, like it, comment, and do all that stuff, even on YouTube. So let's get into it. I can tell you this, my personal journey, it took me somewhere in the ballpark of 10 years to overcome overthinking. And so I want you, the reason why I tell you that is because I want you to understand that it is a journey. It is not going to happen overnight. So give yourself the grace. I'm going to keep on saying this. Give yourself the grace to learn, to identify, and to grow and to overcome. All right. It's not going to happen overnight. So let's get into it. The first thing I recommend is 9 different things that I'm going to give you guys actionable items that you could use to overcome your overthinking, whatever it is. The first one is understanding that where is it? Where's the overthinking coming from? Well, it's probably coming from here, and it's also feeding here, your heart. But is it really happening outside of you or inside of you? That's the question. And so overthinking really starts from the mind, aka the internal. Sometimes what the scenario is not what it seems, is not really what's happening. However, our minds play trick on us as human beings, and we all go through it, guys. It doesn't matter what age you are, where you're from, it doesn't matter. Our thoughts are the ones that stop us from taking action, from making that big move, making that big decision, putting in that offer. And so it starts in the mind first. And understanding that if it starts in the mind first is your first step right after beginning to accept that you do have a problem of overthinking for whatever reason, in your work, in your personal life, it doesn't matter. All right. So just understand that the first item that I want you to do is identify. Identify, is this truly a problem? And is the problem coming from outside or from within? And that solidifies your last step of the 5 stages of grief, which is your acceptance. Okay. Without this crucial step, you will not overcome the next 8 items. So let's get into the next one. Let's say I'm putting in an offer, and let's say I'm a real estate investor, I'm putting in a cash offer, and I know that this offer is probably a little low for the seller or the realtor in this case. What happens? Let's say 2 people are doing the same thing. One person takes action, submits it. The other person has the same offer and they don't submit it. Who won? Put it in the chat, guys. I want to know who won. The person that submitted it or the person that didn't submit it? I know it's a basic question. So what ends up happening is, because the person that didn't submit it, the lowball offer, they already lost the battle. They lost the battle. And so what happens is you keep on doing this. And by the way, overthinking compounds, just like compound interest adds up. Overthinking compounds. And so it's not just one layer, it's multiple layers. You're going to miss one offer because you think it's too low, so you don't submit it. Then you go and find another opportunity. You're about to put in an offer, then you don't do it. That's already 2 in a matter of, like, let's say a week. So it compounds, it continues, right? So the second item that you need to do is avoid self-reflection, okay? Avoid what's happening internally, okay? Don't overthink and don't worry about, is this good enough? Worry about, this is done. I'll perfect it later. And so, and a lot of gurus and a lot of, mentors out there all say the same thing, and it's very cliche. Take imperfect action. Well, it's easier said than done. It is easier said. Who can relate to that? It's easier said than done. What do you mean take imperfect action? And so this is why I'm giving you guys the blueprint, and this is one of those items. See, this is only one of 9 items, okay, that you need to do to take that imperfect action. Okay. So for example, let's say you're applying for a new job and you feel you're not qualified for the job. Do you pull the trigger and still apply? Or do you say, you know what? I'm probably not qualified for the job. They're never going to select me. Guess what? You already lost the battle. And so when you do that, you're already limiting yourselves. These are called limiting beliefs. So don't limit yourself. You're capable. You're phenomenal. You're an amazing human being. So do it. Give yourself the grace and give yourself the permission to apply for that job that you think you cannot qualify for. Okay. So should I go and apply to become an astronaut? Well, you never know, is what I'm saying. You never know. And so if you haven't tried, you already lost the battle. Okay. So the second thing I want you to do is avoid self-reflection. Is my offer good enough? I'm writing up a blog. Is the blog good enough? Is it really going to hit home? I say F it. F it. Click publish, submit it. It's done. It's on there now. Now you're going to do it, continuously do it. So this compounds the same way overthinking compounds, success and action taking compounds as well. You're going to submit that first. Let's say you're working on your website. And so you're working on your website, you write a blog article or whatever, and you're like, I'm going to submit it. Publish, done deal. You go to sleep, close your laptop, right? The next day you do another one and another one and another one. You're not thinking about, what if? No, you're thinking this is actually going to be phenomenal because I'm providing some serious value, even though it's not perfect. So give yourself the grace and the permission to know that whatever you do is not going to be perfect. Okay. So that's what you do. Avoid self-reflection. Let's get into the third one. Sometimes when we're in the storm, I call this the storm. Sometimes when you're in the decision-making process and you're overthinking, it may feel like the world is closing in on you. Can anybody relate to that in the chat here? Can anybody relate to, you feel like the world is just closing in on you because you need to make a decision and you feel like you're just stuck. Okay. That's normal. That is normal as well. And so what you want to do is take a step back and step out of your storm, right? Let's say you're in a tornado. Okay. You're constantly in that tornado, in the eye of the tornado. And let's say you're Superman or Superwoman and the tornado's not hurting you, but you are in it. You're in the middle, but you can't see besides what's happening around you. And someone else is standing outside the picture is telling you, hey, it's going to be okay. It's going to be fine. Take some time. And so this is where that cliche phrase comes in. Hey, sleep on it. Sleep on it. I want you to sleep on it. Okay. Don't sleep on it too long now, but sleep on it. Sometimes time heals pains and it also heals overthinking. All right. So remain in silence and let time work for you, not against you. Okay. And so doing that really helps. So the third thing I want you to do is be silent and take the time to identify that you need to overcome this overthinking. Okay. You would be surprised how many times this happened to you when you're like, I'm going to sleep on it. And then you're in the middle of dinner with your family or friends or whatever. And then an idea comes and you're like, oh my God, how come I didn't think about that 4 hours ago when I was stuck in making this decision? Anybody ever happened? Did that ever happen to you guys? Where I know it happens to me all the time, like especially in the middle of the night after 9 o'clock, for some reason, ideas start popping up for in my head. And so when you do that, time actually helps you. So time is working for you. All right. So give it time. Right. Don't take too much time. Otherwise, you become something worse than an overthinker, which is a procrastinator. Okay, cool. Sounds good. You guys having fun so far? All right, we're halfway there. Let's do this. So one of the things that I know for a fact is I can control a lot of things as a human being, and so can you. However, the one thing we all can't control is what? What is one thing that we cannot control, guys? Put it in the chat. I want to hear this. What is one thing we cannot control as human beings? Ivan says 4 a.m. I love it. Nice. That happens for you at 4 a.m. We can't control other people. We can control how we react to other people. But what's the big commodity that the weather, other people, very good. Facebook user says it, all right? The market, everyone else. What's the commodity? If I give you a choice between money and time, which one can you control? I'm making it easy for you guys now. I got to have fun with you guys a little. All right. Yeah. Time and death are really, tied in together, right? And so what better way or what better thing or what more liberating thing you could do for yourself than to not live in a world of regrets? I shoulda, woulda, coulda. Anybody know anybody like that? Shoulda, woulda, coulda people? I shoulda, woulda, coulda, right? Or some people that overthink about the future, right? And I did another live a couple of days ago about the fear of the unknown. This is tied into it. The fear of the unknown feeds this type of overthinking where you don't know where you're going to go next, what the future holds. What does the future behold, right? And so recognizing that you cannot control time, what can you do to overcome that? One of the best things you could do, and I tell this to my family reminds me of it. My mentees, you guys remind me of it. My tribe reminds me of it. I remind everyone of it, is living in the now. Live in the now. Don't worry about what happened in the past. If you had traumas in your past, let them go. They got you here today to make this decision, to be here on this live today, to grow out of your shell and stop worrying about the future. Take the steps towards it, but stop worrying about the future. Because the reality is, and this is going to sound a little morbid now, the reality is you might not wake up tomorrow. And so I'm going to pause here and give a gratitude statement. I'm grateful to be here standing in front of well over 20 people to give you guys this knowledge and to remind you that everything will work out at the end. And so I'm grateful I woke up today to deliver this message and to continue delivering this message to everyone that needs to hear this. All right. So live in the now, you can't make the past change. You could control the future, but there's a saying, you want to make God laugh or the higher power laugh, tell him or her, whoever you believe in, you got a plan, right? We all have a plan. I have a plan. I'm going to take over the world like Pinky and the Brain. But what ends up happening? An obstacle happens. An obstacle happens. And then all of a sudden, your plan is down the toilet, right? It's down the toilet. And so what ends up happening is your trajectory is changed now. So what better way to overcome overthinking by living now in the moment today, not worrying about the past and not harboring over the future or obsessing about the future. It's okay to be obsessed with being successful. That's different, but you need to take the steps in order to do that. It's not going to come to you automatically. All right. So live in the now is number 5. Okay. So one of the other things I love is living, along with living in the now, living in peace. Okay. That means removing the elements around you or within you that take away that peace, which ultimately leads to your overthinking. All right. And so being accepting of peace is the key here. All right. So, what does that mean? So, when I say removing the elements that make it so hard for you and so tough for you to make a decision or overcome your overthinking, sometimes those elements, are around you: family, friends, naysayers, haters. We all have names for them. And so these people contribute to your overthinking, and they contribute to your lack of peace. All right. That's the external element. Obviously, there's more, like besides friends and family, there's elements like physical elements, physical elements are internal, but physical, emotional, elements are internal as well. So you have the external world working against you, and then also you have your internal world, which we are obviously dealing with, which is our thought process. So what number six, I mean, is all about accepting your peace, right? Accept that there will be the fear of the unknown. There will be, you can't control everything. Accept that. Accept that there you will be taking imperfect action, like what we talked about. Accept that nothing is going to be perfect in life. And once the minute you start doing that, and ask me how I know, we have a saying in the coffee tribe: ask me how I know, right? And ask me how I know. It took me 10 years to get to this journey of having internal peace, which also, by the way, personally now allowed me, I should have been here 10 years ago talking to you guys. All right. Right here on live, talking to every one of you, telling you what you need to do. But it took me 10 years of my own personal life. Now, mind you, I'm 40, right? It took me 10 years of my life to get to realize what was causing my internal disruption of my energy and my peace. But that happened for me. I never harbor. It goes back to what I was saying. Never harbor what happened in the past. Don't worry about what happened in the past. What happened in the past got you here. And so, did I think about getting on this live today? No, it didn't. I didn't stop because I knew that I needed to get this message out to you guys, because I live in the now. What better time than now to get this message out to everyone? And if you're hearing this and you're hearing this now, understand we are here for a reason, to cross paths in our lives so I could deliver this message to you, whether I know you or not. And if you're new to the Facebook group, welcome. And if you're in my coffee tribe, love you guys, every single one of you. All right. So with that being said, accept the peace, accept that nothing's going to be perfect, accept that people will be crazy around you. All right. Accept that they will be haters, accept that you won't have all the answers to make a decision. That's okay. So that's number 6. Accept whatever the situation is. Accept whatever facts you have. This relates back to business now, where we sometimes in business we need to make a decision that is based on 80% facts or 80% information. Sometimes we won't have all the answers to make an informed decision, but we have enough answers to make that decision. All right. But there is a certain level of uncertainty, and you have to be internally peaceful to know that you won't have all the answers to pull the trigger on that decision in business. And you need to be okay with that. So that's how it ties into our business life as well. You guys getting enjoyment out of this? I'm enjoying talking about this because I'm sharing my journey. I'm sharing the things that worked for me. Hopefully it works for you guys. And I'm pretty sure other things will work for you guys as well. So I just want to be able to contribute that to you and leave a message here. So I appreciate you guys for hanging with me. So the other thing that is big is health, right? Well, there's different types of health out there. There's mental health, physical health, emotional health, right? Just that spiritual health as well. So the four elements working in harmony together to make you who you are today. However, if I was to pick one for you to identify, to understand that this is the one that contributes to your overthinking and how you could overcome it, it truly would be your mental health. The mind, there's a reason why the higher power gave us the mind up here and not down at the bottom of our feet, right? There's a reason why our feet are dirty and our mind is clean. It's up here. And there's a reason why. The reason why is because this controls everything. This controls everything. And so if this is filled with negativity and I can'ts and doubts, guess what's going to happen? Your physical is going to be suffering. Your emotional is definitely going to be suffering. And your spiritual is going to be depleted. And so mental health actually controls everything in your life. Everything. But if this is positive and this understands that I need to accept where I'm at, and I need to first identify I'm overthinking what I'm overthinking, whatever it is. Making a decision, getting married, buying a house, doesn't matter. Without understanding that, you will not be okay. I don't care if you go to the gym 24 hours a day. I don't care if you go to church, mosque, temple, whatever your spirituality is. That's still not going to be okay because you are living here in the now, in the physical world. You're spiritually with your soul, but also with your physical, your actual meat suit, your body, right? And then the other element around you, right? Everything else, including your emotional. If your emotional is no good, and if you are constantly depressed, think about why you are depressed. What is making you depressed? This feeds this and everything else around it. Your internals, your externals. Okay. And so if I was to pick one, it would definitely be mental. So you're number 7 now. Your health is your wealth, but also your health starts with your mind. Okay. So if you control your thoughts, like what Ivan Leva says here, love you, bro. If you control your thoughts and make them positive thoughts, everything else will fall into place. Worried about getting that new job? Take a look at your thoughts. Worried about submitting an offer that may be a little bit too low for that realtor? Look at your thoughts, not your numbers. Worried about having a kid that was unexpected? Look at your thoughts. Look deep in your mind and realize, oh my God, my thoughts are all negative. So how is that affecting you now in your body? Now you're depressed because, oh my God, you're freaking out. Let's say you're not financially stable and you're having a kid on the way. Oh my God, I don't know how I'm going to support the kid. Now your internal is shaky. Okay. Your internal is shaky. Your emotional is very shaky, which ultimately, if you don't correct it and remove your overthinking, your physical takes a beating. And then your spirituality takes a beating too. You start doubting the higher power. And so toxic, thank you, whoever said that. I don't know who you are, but thank you. So whatever your thoughts are doing, your body is following. Kind of like a tractor trailer or an 18-wheeler on the highway. The back cargo doesn't go anywhere without the actual truck. Okay. So the truck in this case is your mind. Then the cargo is everything else, your your body, your spirit, your emotional, your heart. Okay. It doesn't work the other way around. And so, because if you guys know about the hypothalamus, it's the one that releases all the chemicals, right? We are a chemical entity. And so those chemicals or your hormones control everything else around you. All right. One is affected immediately, the others are affected later on, like your body. Okay. So remember that. So your number 7, identify your thoughts. Think about what's happening in here before you do everything else. If you control this and you control your thoughts and identify, oh my God, my thoughts are really, catch yourself. You will, until the last day that you have a breath, you will be going through this. I promise you that. 40 years on this planet, I'm still going through it. Okay. So identify that this controls everything. Once you fix this, and once you fix your thoughts and identify, oh my God, my thoughts are really, they're really dragging me down. And you want to know your identifier, your true identifier. Look at the people around you. How are they responding to you? Are they avoiding you? Or are they with you? Are they picking up the phone to ask about you? Or are they leaving you weeks and months not worrying about you? Are you sitting with your spouse, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your friends in the same room or in the same area? Then all of a sudden they end the night real quick. Did you guys ever go through that? I know I have. I can tell you right now. Ain't no shame in the game, baby. You know, the reason why is because your thoughts control your tongue and control your heart, control your physical and your spiritual. And so people don't want to be around you when you're vibrating on such a negative scale. So what happens? You keep on getting worse and worse and worse. So your first identifier would actually be your internal. Then your second identifier would be your external, in that order. Internal first, then external. Internal, oh, I think my thoughts are negative about whatever the situation is. Oh, I'm pulling the trigger on doing this. And then you look around and your kids are nowhere near you. Your family's nowhere near you. Your friends are nowhere near you. That's your external identifier. That solidifies that you need to change your thoughts. All right. By the way, my Facebook Live, we keep it real, guys. Ain't no such thing as fake until you make it. Whoever told you that is already faking it. They're never going to make it. So the other thing that you want to do, we're at number 7. Yeah. So the other thing that you want to do is identify. Oh, we're at number 8. I lost track already. Wow, that was quick. Gratitude is key here, guys. Gratitude controls everything in your life. Gratitude brings you blessings. Gratitude allows you to overcome your overthinking. Here's an example. You live in a house, 3-bedroom, 2-bath. You got a beautiful house, but you're not grateful for it. You're just miserable. Remember, it goes back to what I was pointing out, is that you're miserable because your thoughts are so negative about your situation that you don't realize how good you have it. And so it goes back to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which is shelter, safety, food, water, right? We have those things around us. There are people out there that do not have these things. So living in a house with a beautiful family or beautiful, animals, your pets, and having a good job or having a great business or whatever it is, and you're still miserable. Well, that goes back to what I was saying. Your thoughts are affecting that and affecting it around the people around you too. So one of the best things you could do for yourself is for overcoming your overthinking, which is triggered by your mind, is really getting to the root source of the problem. And the root source of the problem makes up for all other 8 of the items that I just covered. And that is being grateful for what you have, being grateful for the car that you have, the family that you have, the job that you have, even though your boss, you got some days with your boss that you don't like them, right? So, but also being grateful for your house and your living conditions because others don't have it. Once you do that, you liberate yourself. You live in peace with yourself. So live with peace inside yourself first to externally be at peace with others. And so, how do you do that? Well, it's easy to do it once a week or once a month or once a year. What if I told you got to do it every single day, at least 3 times a day? Morning, afternoon, evening. When you wake up, I am grateful. I am grateful to wake up. I am grateful for everything that God has provided me. The higher power has provided me. The universe has provided me, whatever you believe in. The afternoon, I'm grateful to have made it past 12 o'clock so that I could serve my purpose in life. At night, right before you, because the last thing that you remember, the last thing that you think about will contribute to your dreams, contribute to your sleep. You guys ever watch a scary movie at night and then all of a sudden you have nightmares? You have nightmares in the middle of the night, or your kids have nightmares. So all right, sorry about that, guys. All right, so being able to do that is key in order to get over your negative vibrational energy. Okay. And so I wanted to leave that with you guys. I hope you guys had a great time with this. So let's go over them real quick. The first one is obviously to overcome overthinking. You need to identify that the problem is internally. Your overthinking is internal first. The problem may not be the problem the way you're making it out to be. So remember that. The second thing is avoid your self-reflection, which obviously means, don't overthink about stuff. Don't worry about publishing stuff or putting in that offer. Stop self-reflecting. Just do it. Be like Nike and just do it. Number 3 is the silence and the time, right? Silence and time allow you to rethink things over and really just kind of shut it off. By the way, when we talk about silence and time, I'm talking about stepping away from it altogether, putting it in the back burner, as they say. That's important, all right? Because you need to be able to give it time to breathe, as they say, okay? Number 4, and I'm actually going to keep this one later. This one is about number 4 is the now, living in the now, not harboring about the past, not worrying about the future, just living in the now. You can't change the past. You can't control the future. All right. So living in the now is going to lead to your next thought, which is living in peace, accepting the now, accepting that you're not going to have control over everything. Okay. You're not going to be able to, control everything. And so that's important. The next one is understanding that the mental controls everything. The mental controls everything. The mental well-being, the mental health controls your emotional, your spiritual, and your physical. Okay. Gratitude is what we covered as well. And something that I want to cover as well is fact checking your own thoughts. Right. So in your mind, sometimes the scenario, and this goes back to number 1, is sometimes in your mind, your brain makes a scenario bigger than what it really is. And so that's number 7, actually. I'm losing track, guys. I apologize, but losing track of this is not what we had in mind. But I want you to understand that, you know, your thoughts create scenarios in your mind that are truly not there. So putting a check on your thoughts is really what's happening here. And then the final question, I'm going to leave you guys with this question. This is number 9 now. Is there anything I could do right now? Anything I could do right now to change the past or to impact the future or influence the future? And there's going to be one of 2 answers. Either yes, overcome it, take the action, do what you need to do. Okay. However, if the answer is no, it ties into the peace one, where be at peace with it and understand you're never going to control it, you're never going to change it, and be at peace with it and move on with your life. Okay. So you need to be able to do that in order to continue being at peace and in order to continue overcoming your overthinking. So, with that being said, we're at 47 minutes here. You guys have any questions? I'll take any questions in the chat. I'll hang out with you guys another few minutes if you guys want to do that. I hope this was very, very impactful for you guys, very helpful. And I know that I touched some of your hearts or the majority of your hearts and your minds over here in the Facebook lives. I want to keep it always real with you guys. I want to keep it always 100% raw. You know, what you see is what you get. And that's what it's all about, guys. It's about don't fake it till you make it. Just be yourself. All right. Be yourself and get away from yourself. Get over yourself and get over your overthinking with the items that I just gave you. I'll be posting a list of all these things as well. If you guys haven't done so already in the Facebook group. If you're not following us in the Facebook group, look for Coffee with the Captain public group. I'm on YouTube as well. I am the property captain. And then Instagram, I am the property captain. So I had a great time with you guys. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for everything. And thank you for all that you do. Continue moving forward. Don't look at the past, right? There's a reason why, and I'm going to leave you with this. There's a reason why, and you guys have heard me say this. There is a reason why your car has a small rear view mirror versus a big windshield ahead of you. That small slither of a mirror only shows you where you were, but you need to focus on where you're going, but also live in the now. You are driving the car doing 80 miles an hour or 70 miles an hour or 60 miles an hour on the highway now. You're not at your exit yet, but keep your eyes on the road and keep your eyes on your focus and your goal. But always remember you are living in the now because you may not make it to tomorrow. So control your thoughts. I am going to make it. So start and end your days with affirmations. Okay. So thank you guys for joining me. I appreciate you guys. Love you guys so much. Tribe. We'll see you guys in a few hours here, like another hour. And on Sunday, if you're not part of the tribe, I'd love to speak with you, see if we could help you out with your journey, both personal development, business. We're doing some phenomenal things in the tribe, guys. Some phenomenal things. I want to get to my 1,000 millionaires. So come talk to me. Let's talk and let's see how we could help you guys out. I appreciate you guys. Thank you and have a great night.